What's up, Electroheads? This right here is the DYU Stroll-1. It's an electric road bike that has no doubt been created to take on the more pricier competitors in its category, like the Tenways right here. So with that in mind, can this electric bike persuade me to give up these more expensive, fancier, spanglier options for something that price-wise is a bit more attainable? Stick around to find out. And don't forget, if you're new here, then join the Electroheads community by hitting that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest e-mobility news and reviews. All right, let's talk features. The DYU Stroll-1 comes with an aluminium alloy frame with a choice of either a silver or black finish like I have today. It weighs in at 19.5 kilograms with a 250-watt rear hub motor to power your commute. Speaking of power, this e-bike has a removable battery with a 324 watt-hour capacity. DYU claims a range of up to 62 miles with a top speed of 15.5 miles per hour in line with EU-UK regulation. In true road bike fashion, the Stroll-1 offers 700 by 38C puncture-resistant tyres, a 7-speed gear shift system, and hydraulic brakes for whatever your commute throws at you. An integrated front light, bells, and mudguards all come as part of the price, but you'll need to spend a bit more to get a rear and or front rack. Max load is 120 kilograms with a rider height of 5.24 to 6.39 foot. Buildability. This is probably a made-up word, but something that we should all be considering when we are thinking about buying an electric bike. Can we build the bike that is sent to us in the post? So we've got the bike in here in the box. I'm going to unpack it, and for someone like me who's not amazing with DIY, can I build it? Let's find out. All right, we've got these massive staples here that are definitely nail breakers. So ladies out there, watch those nails. Okay, so this is a 19.5 kilogram electric bike, so just being able to lift out the box actually is also quite important. So this is definitely on the more heavier end of what I can lift, but let's have a go. Can I get it out? Meg, I might need your hand just to hold the box. Yeah, all right. I have built bikes before, but I've not built them when they've been like this. Always good to have mudguards, especially if you're in the UK. How to build it. But it'll be handy if that was in the instruction manual. Is it this way? Or is it that way? Great. Yeah. Will it stand on its own? Yay! We're getting there! Oh my days. And the bike, she is built. This little beauty is ready to ride, I hope. I've got to really trust my skills here. Now, I have to say, it did take longer than anticipated just because I'm not that clued up with DIY. If you're a confident bike builder, I'm sure this is going to take you no time at all. But it was all the simple stuff. You just need to get the pedals on, get the wheel on, make sure it's all aligned, the brakes, gearing, just all kind of slotted on. So a little bit fiddly, but fine. Now it's time to go for a test ride. The DYU, we can see it has a very sporty geometry, and combined with these larger wheels, it really combos up to make this lovely kind of streamlined, well-balanced, agile feel as you're cycling along. It doesn't rattle too much over potholes, and the tyres do a really great job of cushioning what is a solid frame bike. The handlebars, they're basic, but they're comfortable. The saddle, again, it's a basic, pretty cheap saddle, but I would have to say it's really not that bad. I have had some experience, many experiences actually, with those cheaper saddles, which have been very uncomfortable, but this one, just whilst I've had a little bit of a ride around town, it's been perfectly comfortable. But if I were to be riding this a little bit more, then I would just change up the saddle because that is my personal preference, but not bad for what's provided. But how does it really feel to ride? I mean, although this bike is 19.5 kilograms, which isn't particularly light, but isn't massively heavy either, I mean, I can still pick it up. It feels incredibly lightweight underneath my feet, and I think that's a combination of both the motor itself and also having the selection of gears here. You're able to change up that cadence as you wish, and when you put it into level 3 assist, that motor just really does kick in and gets you up to 15.5 miles per hour. Pretty damn quick. Now check this, not even a quarter of the turn of the pedal, and the assist has just kicked in. I am in level 3 assist, and if I didn't have this car here, I would be getting up to 15.5 miles per hour. pretty damn quick. Now, the fact of the cadence sensor is that although it is more basic, which means that it's better to be fitted to a bike that needs to be cheaper, what it does is when you do turn that pedal, that cadence sensor, it just tells the motor to wake up. It gets your bike going up to that set speed of whatever level of assist you're on. And it's basically an on-off feeling, but it's smooth. This bike's activation of the motor, it's not just like a juddery shunt of assist. They've managed to make it feel comfortable. Well, as I've been riding this bike very briefly around town, I've honestly been very impressed. This bike packs a lot of good for its affordability as well. And I'm definitely going to be taking it up a few hills as well because it has been really lovely on the flats. I want to see how this motor performs. It's got that 500 watt peak power. So I want to see if it can get me up with quite a bit of kit on my back as well, actually. So we're probably looking at about 75, 80 kg on this bike right now. But let's talk about range really quickly because that's a really important thing. And usually if a bike's cheaper, you kind of expect that the range is going to be lower. Well, Tenways Pro comes with a 360 watt-hour battery. So I found that gave me around 38 miles of range, and that was me testing it in summer conditions. The DYU here, just a little bit shorter at 324 watt hours. So although the capacity is a touch smaller, it's a touch smaller. It's not actually that much less. And for the price that you're paying for it as well, I think that's very fair. And I love as well, as you know, going through the city, I love to adjust the assist. I'm not always on level 3, I'm kind of tweaking it how I like. And this rocker screen, so when you kind of press up and down, the actual display rocks in the direction that you pushed it. I just think it's really lovely, really neat, and kind of feels a little bit special actually. It's better than just standard kind of buttons. All right, let's take this baby on a hill. But before I do that, if you are enjoying this video, then please hit that like button. Nice one, thank you. We're on my one of my fave hills I like to test these bikes on. I took the Tenways up this one. I'm taking the DYU up this too. Let's have a go. I'm in level 3 assist, let's just make sure. All right, so we're ready. The bike's assisting me. I'm not gonna really put anything through my legs, and I'm going about 18 kilometers per hour, but it's definitely supporting me without me not having to do much. And I'm just gonna push through a bit more now just to kind of get that speed. As it gets steeper, I'm on about 18, 19 kilometers an hour, but the motor is supporting me. I'm gonna just let my legs go off a bit. A little bit out of breath, of course. I mean, I didn't even feel around my gears. I had quite a good bit of resistance there to help me up the hill. I probably could have dropped down a few. Hill complete. But this is the thing with having an electric bike. These electric bikes are designed to help you feel more confident in taking on those hills. A hill like that, I think a lot of people wouldn't want to do on an analog bike. But having the DYU, having that 250 watt motor, although it is limited in terms of what it can do in terms of pushing up a hill, because 250 watts is fine, but it's not massive. 500 watts would definitely be a better option if you've got a hilly area, but because of the laws here in the UK, you can't have a motor that is more than 250 watts. There is discussions of that potentially changing. I actually did a video on that, so if you'd like to watch my video on the potential 500 watt motor increasage, then click the link above. But what these bikes do enable you to do is take on those hills and feel more confident about them and get up them and not be a massive sweaty mess at the end, like I could have been. But no, I wasn't. I just a little bit light on the breath and still smiling. And the brakes are certainly working on these hills as well. I'm glad I installed those correctly. So now you have more of an idea of how the DYU feels, how it performs, how it works on the road. I think next we do just need to have a little bit more of a conversation about how it compares with something like the Tenways. So we've got Rich here.
Hello.
So Rich has been commuting with the Tenways for how long now?
About 6 months in London, yeah.
Yeah, so 6 months. So he's got a very good idea of how the Tenways is. So let's just talk a bit more about just how they compare. So firstly, I want to talk about the drive system itself. So the DYU here has a chain. Tenways?
Tenways has a carbon belt drive,
Yeah.
which is very smooth.
Yes, exactly. So I think, again, DYU, chain, it's got a cadence sensor, the Tenways.
Torque sensor, again, very smooth.
Sorry, I keep bringing it.
That's all right. You just don't want me to talk. It's fine. I would feel the same. No, yeah, I think cadence sensors usually go with the chain drive. Torque sensors usually go with the belt drive, right?
Exactly that. And I think there's an argument that belt drives are a little bit more expensive, torque sensors a bit more expensive, cadence, chain a little bit more affordable. So in terms of feel, I think there is a difference. It depends how much of a stickler you are with that kind of feel of ride. But I think a cadence sensor is perfectly good, as you've seen today. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the torque sensor?
Yeah, so I rode a bike before the Tenways that was a lot more like the DYU. So I was on the Astali E28. just a chain drive with a cadence sensor. And I think the main thing with a carbon belt drive and a torque sensor is that you feel like very glued into the bike. So like for a start, the ride is really smooth, and there's a kind of thing where like whatever you're giving it, it's giving you back. Whereas I find with a cadence sensor and a chain drive, if you really put power through the bike, it like bursts away really quickly and you get these like sudden bursts of energy, which can be really useful. Like they're a bit quicker off the line, I find. I find the torque sensor and the belt drive is just a bit more of a chill experience, really.
100%. You know, we could talk about it for eons, but I think essentially it doesn't matter too much because you're still getting that electric assist. So don't worry if this is more of the price tag that you're looking for, because you're not massively missing out.
Yeah, I think the feature set for the price, which is going to be like £1,200 or something, so probably about $1,500. Removable battery, you know, it is a really slick looking bike. It's got a lovely display on it. It's a well kitted out bike, I think, for the price and the range. If it lives up to that estimate, then that's pretty impressive for the price as well. Although, as we know, no e-bike ever lives up to its range estimate. It's just how far off it actually is in the end, I think, isn't it?
Exactly. I think realistically, like this battery is just a touch smaller than the Tenways, so it's not going to do the same amount of range. It is going to do less, but I'm guessing just with the watt hours, it's probably going to be around 25 to 30 miles on one charge. Another key point to mention is that the DYU has gears and the Tenways,
yeah, it's just single speed. So again, that whole thing of like torque sensor and carbon belt drive, it's supposed to just sense what you want and give you that. And obviously with the speed limit of 25 kilometers an hour in Europe and the UK, you don't really necessarily need gears if you're on the flat, because you're going to get up to that speed quite easily. I think where the gears come in really handy, especially on a cadence sensor, if you're on a steep hill, you can go down to a really easy gear and just spin the pedals quickly, and that will give you a lot of power.
Absolutely. Now this one could be a bit of a make or break for people. It hasn't affected me too much because I don't have to do too much carrying of my bikes because I do live on the ground floor, but the weight does differ. So this one is 19.5 kg.
Can I do a pickup test?
Please.
Let's see. I mean, yeah, Tenways is pretty good. That is quite light. To be honest, I can't feel much of a difference, I have to say. Yeah. You're kind of splitting hairs between 16 kg and 19 kg, aren't you?
But yeah, I mean, look, this can mean a world of difference if you're somebody that just doesn't really have much upper body strength, and that 3 kilograms could make or break you. But for us, I genuinely haven't really had much of a problem at all with lifting a 19.5 kg electric bike.
Yeah, and you are absolutely jacked. Yeah, I think, look, with the cheaper bike, so it's going to be a bit heavier, the components are always going to be a bit cheaper, but you're basically getting the same end result, but you just have little differences. Like this has a headlight that's attached, so it's discreet to the bike, whereas that has a inbuilt headlight that looks like really swish, and you know, really like, I think, completes the look of the Tenways. It's just little things like that, I think, where you spend more money, you get that. Don't spend as much money, you get that. But if you're looking for an e-bike to get you around town, like, there's not a world of difference between the experience of riding them, is there?
Completely agree. Couldn't have said it better myself, guys. Well, final thoughts. I'm genuinely really impressed by what this bike has to offer. I was dubious when I first set out and I built it, and having that first test ride, I was like, is this really gonna be something that I could genuinely recommend to you guys at home as a more affordable option to the Tenways? And I think I can quite confidently say yes. I mean, bearing in mind I haven't spent as much time as I would like with it, so I haven't done a proper range test, but I think with the battery being quite similar to the capacity of the Tenways, you're not going to go too far wrong with that range as well. Now, if anyone does own a DYU Stroll-1 at home, I'd love to hear your comments down below, because it's all about sharing knowledge and sharing information. So if you've had any experiences with this, I would love to hear from you. And if you are tempted of buying this, then please do click the link in the description below. It is an affiliate link, and it means that we can just get a little portion of the money that you spend. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps support the YouTube channel to continue making videos just like this. All right, guys, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if there's any other e-bikes that you'd like me to review, and I'll see you for the next one.